Hello. um, this is always the beginning, and I don't have an intro because we just go straight. Hello, nobody. Just one person now. Cool. Well, I'm here to promote Stateless Productions, as the description says. This is not going to be like past promotions where there's a huge goal and I'm going to do some challenge. But Jack and I are going to talk about the documentary, our parts in it, and yeah, just what we know about it. So, yeah. Hey.
All right, I'm back.
See, there's a couple of people. Yay, beginning.
All right, we can go live now on Facebook.
No, I didn't get the shoes yet.
What's up?
Thanks, Rob. All right, I'm gonna go live on Facebook.
Yes. So yes, we're about to do a little promotion here for Stateless Productions for their film, The Monopoly on Violence Beyond the States. So just got to share the link here so everybody gets where the video is going to be able to be watched really quick. So unfortunately, only so many hands to do all these different things at once. So I got to just do what I can as I can.
One day we'll use OBS Studio.
Yes, probably some OBS Studio would help. But in the meantime, just using it. Well, I mean, you can't really share to groups. So it's not like you can share like the video to all the Facebook groups and their stuff just by having OBS Studio. That doesn't do that for you. So
yeah, not the Facebook you're on.
Right. So I have to, still do a little bit of manual work here. Just because I want everybody to see it, because we want this film to go well, because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a real big deal. So I'm just going to go ahead and share the link to a couple of the key groups here. Make sure everybody knows that it's about to be on.
That's what you use for ancap radio, Joey. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was introduced to it by the Untwined Minds podcast, Vinny specifically. So we used it before, but the internet was
not having it.
Yeah, not having it. Took up a lot of the bandwidth, so we decided to just share directly.
All right. Yeah, this is way faster too. Trying to use the computer and like with everything streaming on one service, it just was too much. So doing it through, cell service a little bit faster, so it's not competing with two different streaming things at the same time over on the computer. So, but in the meantime, yes, we're getting ready to talk about the Stateless Productions film. And it's going to be awesome. So we want to really push it.
I'm going to look at how the campaign is doing. And haven't supported yet. But the one that I wanted to get, because they have quite a bit of perks, which we'll also go over, was their contributor perk. So right now they're at 148%. So they've met their goal.
Yeah, so just awesome.
Their goal was 15,000. So that's pretty incredible. And since they launched their campaign, it was funded really fast. I think it was a 60-day campaign, and just 30 days into it, halfway into it, they were, I think, already fully funded.
They got, I think about halfway through, they actually hit their goal, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially if anyone was here when we did our campaign for the latest comic issue. That was just a third of their goal. And, we spent a couple months. So that's pretty cool. But I think what that shows is there's such a market demand amongst the anarcho-capitalists specifically, or just anarchist community. Voluntarist community for a really well done, mainstream, not like obviously in terms of content, but in terms of quality, mainstream quality documentary. So,
all right, I'm almost there. Last post, I think.
So yeah, and right now
we don't have everybody else's team to do all that stuff.
Right. Hey, maybe in the future. Maybe we'll have a little pho team. I mean, I guess we have a little pho team already, but
very small.
An additional pho team.
Pho support. Okay. So sorry that everybody had to just wait a quick second while I finish this up, but it will be worth your wait.
Hey, Drew.
Perfect. Okay. Finally got that all done. All right. So everybody might be wondering, why are we here? And sorry for the extra weight there. So we are doing a promotion. That's awesome. We are doing a promotion for Stateless Productions. Stateless Productions is the name of the company that is putting together a documentary specifically on voluntaryism, anarchism, especially with a more of a bent and a focus on free markets, property rights, and things like that. So more the anarcho-capitalist tradition and voluntarist tradition. But again, you know, it is addressing a bit of the, and sure that too.
Focus on anarcho-capitalist and agorism.
I would say more anarcho-capitalism. Agorism is kind of a methodology as opposed to a trend of anarchism. So it's more about talking about the history of anarchism and other philosophers, but then leading more into the modern scholars and scholarship in that realm. And actually, we had the opportunity to even be behind the scenes with Stateless, doing some of the shoots at Mises University. So they were actually there interviewing scholars and the sort. And you know, we got to go
on the third floor.
Yeah, they recorded on the third floor in the library, and we got to check out what they were doing. You know, actually, you know, shake some hands, meet people from the internet. Right, people on the internet, they're real people too. So you're usually like, okay, are these just, you know, some trolls? But no, real people. They have you know, families and loved ones, and they have jobs and, you know, lives. They're not just, you know, some bums. So they're hardworking people who are behind the project, and I really like a lot of the things that they were doing beforehand, like Pete's you know, podcast and things like that. So
yeah, we got to know them
exactly. So a lot of these people who are you know, behind this have, you know, a bit of a longer history with Liberty. They've been around the block, you could say, and they have the capabilities, I think, at this point to, you know, execute a decent production. So, you know, we wanted to, of course, make sure everything was good. We, you know, working behind the scenes a little bit to make sure everything was good for them. But it looks like they're heading in a great path. So that's why I want to make sure that they're going to finish really strong, because even though they did hit goal, nonetheless, again, it still costs a bit of money to do great, you know, post-production editing. And so we want to see them go as far as possible in their fundraising. So that way, no matter what, you know, they're not tight on budget or, you know, trying to scrounge money from anywhere to be able to have really great transitions, effects, you know, color grading and things like that. Because obviously, you know, that's really, I think, where it is. If you have a halfway decent camera these days, you know, most cameras you can shoot pretty well, even in low light with 4K, you know, your standard like DSLR, stuff like that. So it doesn't take a lot to get the hardware, I think, these days to have a decent shoot. But the editing, you know, the post, that takes a little bit of extra effort. So we want to make sure that they're good on that. And we
honestly was surprised by the budget, like by the goal. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm used to, I would think it'd be a couple $100,000 for all the travel and.
Well, right. It could, like, normally, of course, if you're doing things, you know, by the book on a bigger production, things could get very expensive. But fortunately, thanks to technology being just so advanced at this point in terms of video equipment and the accessibility of editing software and, you know, lighting and stuff like that, it becomes much more accessible, especially when you have people who are volunteering a lot of their time. Like many of the guys who are working this are actually, you know, doing a lot of this technically, you know, unpaid, you could say, you know, not really, you know, getting paid per hour for all their hard work they're putting into this, because they're believers in this project and they care about seeing this done more than anything. So, you know, they're putting their resources as best as possible into the production budget, into the actual act of traveling, recording, compiling the footage, editing it, and so on and so forth. So, you know, we're really excited for them. And we also have some behind the scenes, you know, sneaky, you could say, secret upcoming guests they're going to be interviewing. So we'll announce that here really quick. So some of the people that they're going to be bringing on, at least as, you know, tentatively, as far as, you know, because you never know what's going to happen. But in terms of their confirmed conversations, we got word that Michael Humer is going to be on it, who wrote The Problem of Political Authority, Max Borders. They're going to be interviewing Ron Paul, Walter Block, and Kinsella. So those are just some very popular names that you might have heard in, you know, in various venues, you know, from, you know, philosophy to economics, even politics, to discuss these issues. So
I'm really happy they got Ron Paul on it. I mean, you could see he was the highlight of the trailer.
And certainly, some people will be like, oh, is he really like anarchist or stateless? But I mean, again, Ron Paul, in terms of his rhetoric, especially the last few years, has really come out vocally, promoting the idea of, voluntarism and reaching statelessness as an end. So I think it's going to be interesting.
There's a correlation with him going to Acapulco or just being out of politics, maybe a little bit of both.
So
cool. Let's see what's happening on YouTube right now.
So let's take a look now at just anybody who's jumped on board. Now that we've kind of gotten this out of the way and gotten kind of what we're here and trying to do here, let's see what's happening. Yeah, someone said, sharing to groups is a pain. It is a pain trying to share the video, and with throttling on Facebook, it's a real pain in the butt. So if you would, let's have you talk a little bit more about, what you've seen, and I'm going to go ahead and share the link in the meantime.
Yeah, I want to see. So I didn't really check where we started at, but I said the percentage. I think I said like 148%, which is what it is at. So
still there. Of course, you just started, but I'm going to go ahead and share the link. Here's a support link. So again, if you're just doing $10 to the digital release, again, any little bit of support really helps. It's not going to us directly.
That they have, because
right.
I think their perks are really accessible depending on what exactly you want as a perk. So
right. So I'm going to just pull this up really quick. So why don't you talk to us about what you're excited to see in the film and what you're interested in seeing with it?
Oh, well, so, I mean, obviously it hasn't come out yet. So the only thing I could see was the trailer and what I know from talking to the crew about what it's going to be about. But one thing after I saw the trailer that I'm really looking forward to is them going through the history of all the different giant empires and states that have existed throughout history since the beginning of recorded human history. And, they'll go into what it seems like. I mean, it's just really quick. They have pictures. I think they're going to go through like Mao Zedong, the major dictators, the United States Revolution, American Revolution. So that'll be interesting. I just like history, and I like seeing like how we got here today. So that's going to be the main thing that I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. Is there any particular person that you would really want to see in the documentary who you haven't heard is going to be in there yet?
Oh, okay. Out of the people I know for sure going, definitely. I mean, we already talked about like Kinsella, Walter Block, Ron Paul. I'm interested to see them. I'm glad they were confirmed. So this is more of wish list, because if it's not confirmed, it's just kind of what I want.
Who would you like to see them interview? Because again, there's still time for them to get interviews in after they close their campaign. So again, they still have interviews scheduled and lined up in through September and so forth.
Probably a priority based on who they can reasonably travel to and everything.
Right. And well, that's why we're here, right? We're trying to raise funds so that they have the ability to go travel and maybe hit up some either, events, whether they're like libertarian meetup events or something like that, or maybe it's a university, whatever it is they need to get to whatever libertarian activists or scholars are out there. So who would you like to see potentially in this film? Again, we don't know if they're going to be in there, but
Michael Malice.
Throwing some stuff out there. Okay, Michael Malice. That'd be cool.
Woods.
I agree. Tom Woods
Bob
might be in
Murphy.
There. Ooh, Bob Murphy.
And Tom and Bob, Bob and Tom, either one are part of or associated with the Mises Institute. So
I think they may have gotten Bob actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because he was at Mises U.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting.
So that'd be cool. Michael Malice, because from what I've seen so far, he's very principled and he's also very funny. And he's pretty mainstream in there, getting on the news.
Right.
Let's see.
Because again, it's not just like scholars and stuff like that. They are having people who are artists. They are having people who are activists. Whether it's a type of activism that's creative or otherwise. So
Carrie Wedler. She's been in the game. She's an OG libertarian.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen her videos, go on YouTube. I think her page is still up on Facebook, so you can go on Facebook. She's not on Twitter. She's been banned for no reason. But yeah, so she'd be cool. I'd be surprised if she wasn't in it. But yeah, and then probably a lot of people from Acapulco, like Larkin Rose.
I don't think he's from Acapulco.
No, but he goes there. He's like a regular speaker.
He is in the film, though, so that's good. You will see him. Larkin Rose did get an interview when they went to Acapulco.
I would like to see Sterling Lujan. I would think he's in there too.
But he might be. I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I don't know. Good question.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, Polaris, was it 589? Has a question.
Yeah. Liberty Doll mentioned you.
Mm-hmm.
Will you ever go on one of her live streams or have her on yours? I wouldn't be opposed to it. No plans at the moment, but we chat a little. We like each other's tweets. That's more what I mean. I've responded to her comments with like gifts and stuff. So that's as much as our interaction goes. But she's awesome. So far from what I've seen, she's also very principled, and I really like the style of her YouTube videos. Definitely more YouTube-esque. And I like her daily or her weekly 2A news sessions. So
yeah, she might potentially be a good one to interview too for activists, but they definitely should consider that. I think there's a slew of really great activists online who, again, be like, oh, keyboard warrior.
They may not be in the same circles, but I want to introduce them because people like her, from what I've seen, they've been very principled. I'd say Julie Borowski as well. She's also another OG.
She is, but I don't know that she would qualify for the topic of this documentary. So
anarcho-capitalist,
right?
So I don't know if Liberty Doll would either. I just haven't heard her.
Yeah,
but I've just never heard her say anything.
Maybe that's why you need to go on a live stream with her so you can find out and ask her those questions. Right? Go find out so that people can hear what's happening.
Yeah. So no minarchists.
Not generally. There's some people who like teeter, like Ron Paul, but Ron Paul, in terms of language, anybody who's watched his videos, especially the last 5 years, and what he said in public, he always says anarchism is a great thing. That's what you should be striving for. Voluntarism is a great thing. So it's like, you know what I mean?
He's
Ron Paul has
hit minarchism as a transition camp.
Basically, he's truly principled in that way in terms of his rhetoric. So whatever. Some people are gonna hate, but.
I like one of the comments from Facebook. It's like, philosophers so principled.
So, my God. Mother of Rothbard, those principles. Who else would be good in terms of, I'm just curious, like activists, creatives, people, they have to be principled.
Some people I've thought of. There's too much controversy. So unfortunately, I mean, it's Stefan Molyneux. I'm always going to mention Stefan
Maybe Molyneux in 2012, but yeah, not anymore. Not after watching, especially what was that last show we watched of his, the documentary?
It's so unfortunate because he's so articulate and he really helped, I think, advance the peaceful parenting, self-knowledge, and philosophy movement. Philosophy as a whole. So
he did.
But controversy. So
yeah.
Adam Kokesh, another controversy.
There's many parking lot controversies there.
These are my
someone said Cody Wilson. Yeah, if only he wasn't, in
another
that
controversy. Thank you. Exactly,
yeah.
Another one.
Who knows what'll happen with that? But yeah, that was very sketch.
It's like this is why, even though Jordan Peterson is not an anarchist, clean your room.
By clean your room, you mean don't go on, dating websites that are, meant to be like for sugar daddies and, not expect you're going to get,
that's
fished
what
by
I
the
mean.
FBI. Like,
specifically handle your underlying issues.
Yeah.
Well, who else can I think of? Those are the top that come to mind. This is biased.
I mean, I'm just trying, like off the top of my head.
Jacob Hornberger.
Jacob Hornberger, definitely.
From Future Freedom Foundation.
Definitely. Although I think he technically still qualifies as an anarchist, technically, but he's pretty darn close. He's one of those edge people. Chris Voluntaryist, I think he definitely deserves a mention. He's done some great work with his activism and videos. I think
now we're getting into the meme pages realm.
Right.
So the content.
There's got to be some memers.
So Chris Voluntaryist, I said a few already.
Oh, Freedom Tunes, right? Seamus.
Yeah, Freedom. He's definitely ancap.
I think Seamus would be great.
Seamus. They'll probably.
I don't think he's gonna flake anytime soon, as far as I know.
Do you think Eric July? Because
I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
It went very far.
I think he qualifies, absolutely. Eric July definitely qualifies, absolutely. So definitely be good for both music and also for his work with Being Libertarian. I think some of the people at Being Libertarian or founders of Being Libertarian are avowed voluntarists. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think Martin Van Staden.
Anarchy Ball admins.
Who said that?
Oh, me.
Oh, well, there are only a few principled ones left, and one of them just got kicked out, namely me. So, but Anarchy Ball OG. So you asked for balls, I brought you balls, and we got a new person who's bringing more balls.
Ben or
Ben could.
Dapperton.
That would be interesting, but I haven't been following as much lately. But
I think he's still at ANCAP.
I don't know. I heard that he may have gone a little bit down the alt-right pipeline. I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. But maybe if he didn't, then maybe he got 100,000 plus following. He's got that culture part. Someone said whoever made the Tuttle Twins, which that's what Connor Dobson.
Yes, he was very.
I think that's great. Yeah. That's a great suggestion.
Connor Boyack.
Oh, sorry. When I say Connor Dobson, that's a different person. Connor Boyack. Yeah, I knew that, and here I am. Oh, so Connor Boyack, great. I just missed 2 Connors. So.
That's I know.
A bad idea.
Crypto Space.
Crypto Space.
Buterin. Well, I don't know if he's a egg.
You don't know. His dad is though.
Right.
His dad's an ancap. His dad's in it.
We know
definitely. But yeah.
Okay. Vitalik Buterin's dad.
Vitalik Buterin. Okay. I don't know. You got to really pick people who are doing stuff, not just like half wishy-washy stuff. Principled voluntarist, principled ancaps. Come on, you got to pick somebody who's actually principled and doing good stuff. I think that Bitbutter, Thomas K. I'm sure I butchered his name, but as far as I know, it was a little testy time. But as far as I know, he's still in the principled camp. He's still making great animations about liberty. He definitely could be one for that.
Well, thanks again, Polaris 589. It's like a really impersonal way to say his name, but 589.
What does it say?
Okay, he says, I think a good way to advocate for gun rights is to hit the streets and talk to real people and meet space. Online platforms are really good, but the message is vulnerable to censorship.
Well, we agree with that.
That's true. I mean,
definitely lots of room for in-person activism, sign waving, just talking to people in the street, having conversations.
There is. Although, absolutely. I don't know, I can't say it's exclusive. I see evidence that both are very effective.
Yeah. I don't think it's exclusive. He said on-fly platforms are really good. He didn't say it was bad. He said they're really good, but the message is vulnerable censorship, which is right. Right? You try to post about stuff, Facebook throttles you, right? Twitter censors you. In person, I mean, the government can still try to censor you with like police, trying to be like, oh, you need a permit or some crap. But I mean, again, it's a little bit easier to break past that. Just, sign waving.
Just don't do it in like Antifa strongholds. Like,
don't go to Portland,
Oregon?
Yeah, don't go to Portland.
Like you probably just get beat across the head with bike locks.
That's just gonna fall off with California in the next earthquake.
Just go to a constitutional carry place and just protest.
Let fewer people to convince but yes.
I totally agree with you, Polaris 589. I've definitely been thinking about it. Just like one thing that I'm really inspired by, or one person, is I really like what Maj Touré is doing and how he just goes out and he just offers to train people on the basics of handling a firearm. And I just really love that. I love how it's just, more of an education. It's less in your face and just like, gun control is bad. Although I agree I want to do both, but one's definitely less in your face.
It's Polaris. Okay, so we just call him Polaris. There we go. Perfect. Polaris. I hope I said, cool. We're probably am I butchering that too.
There's got to be other.
Some people threw out some just general names. Again, I'm just kind of running through some of these other names though, because again, we're talking about Stateless Productions. We're talking about the Monopoly on Violence. Again, we're here promoting that film, but we're also speculating who could be in there. And just some names that are thrown out there is any of the other crew that was with Dapperton, like Shane Killian. I agree with that. That could be interesting. Absolutely. Someone said, what about David Gay? I mean, he is a gay guy who definitely could do it. Absolutely. So I would say those
really?
Are what?
That's not just his last name?
That's his last name. That's why he's a gay guy. He's David Gay. So of course, absolutely, they did great stuff with Liberty Memes. I think that
he's also a gay guy. He's very happy.
He is very happy. At least I just saw him recently. He was posted with Brad Stacks at some place. I forgot where. People who make
like
other
cool
memers.
Name.
Other memers.
I don't know if
you met Brad Stacks at Tom Woods 1000.
So, okay.
But yeah, exactly. Like there's definitely some people who are doing some great online stuff with memes. And also I think I just forgot his name, but he just messaged me the day. the person who created Voluntaryism in Action, right? It's an organization that actually is like helping people through voluntary fundraising, like helping specific, whatever it is, either they're voluntarists or like friends or families of voluntarists who, need help, whatever it is, they have an unsuspected cancer issue or unexpected accident. They're out there, through voluntary charity, vetting and checking people who need help and are, sharing that around. People are voluntarily living. It's an amazing thing. I think that's a great example of someone that they could also possibly interview, whoever created Voluntaryism in Action, VIA. So.
Yeah. The creator of Minds.
No. Really?
I remember he was on Anarchast. So
oh, was he? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm just thinking people on Anarchast. You could probably look through.
Maybe. That's true, but some of those people, you're like, oh yeah,
I know some of the people who've been on there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think, like, for example, they had
Lauren Southern.
Lauren Southern, yes,
right?
A Mortal Technique. I knew he was more of
that's a no for me,
like a anti-authoritarian socialist.
I mean, they do have some great interviews with not necessarily the most principled anarchists, you could say, or even libertarians, but yeah, there's definitely a good selection of people there, absolutely, to look at. Completely agree.
The Mises professors, I mean, after meeting so many of them, oh, this is so loud.
Yeah.
I can hear. Okay. So all the Mises professors that I met, I think they would all be great to interview.
They did. They did.
A bunch I know they did. That was the right.
And they come back.
That was the right selection of people. I didn't hear of Ryan McMacken before, but he was very articulate, and to me so far from what I saw, seemed to be principled.
Although Ryan did mix up Ryan Gosling with
still an anarchist.
Yeah,
but he did mix up Ryan Gosling with Ryan Reynolds.
With Ryan Reynolds, because you're like, you kind of look like Ryan Reynolds' cousin.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he talked about the movie The Big Short, and we're like, okay, so we go to watch it. It was an entertaining movie.
But we never saw Ryan Reynolds.
But Ryan Reynolds was not in there. We're like, wait a second, that's Ryan Gosling. That's different.
Yeah. So Ryan McMacken was great. David Gordon, I wish I could have picked his brain more. I just never got a chance to sit down with him. But David Gordon would be good at interview.
You don't pick
Pretty
David
sure
Gordon's
they
brain.
already.
It just comes out. We don't have to pick it. It just David Gordon's like a human teleprompter. He just reads out everything.
That's true. It does seem like it. But I know they got him. I remember Pete coming out of the room and saying they got him. So
Michael Bolden, I think he should be on from 10th Amendment Center, which again, 10th Amendment Center, he does that. It sounds like it's constitutional, but he's a huge ancap, like just using secession as a means to eroding the federal government's power.
Yeah, he's very active.
Very active. So I hope y'all are supporting, because again, we are here trying to support the monopoly on violence beyond the state. We put the links just down below in the comments. You better go look at it right now, people. Again, it doesn't matter whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever. Again, this isn't going to us. We're not fundraising for us. This is for their film, because that's just how passionate we are about seeing them succeed. Because we really think that this particular documentary could be groundbreaking in terms of getting people to understand all the principles, the ethics, the philosophy of liberty in a way that's just never been done before. It's an unparalleled endeavor. That might be, the closest thing is like, oh, you go to some liberty conference, you see a couple of speakers, but this is like that times 10 with tons of great interviews across a whole spectrum of people.
Needs it. Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of anarchist documentaries, and they're too old. They're just covering more like the initial anarchist movements, which was more just anti-authoritarian rather than focused on capitalism and free trade. So
yeah, most of the stuff out there is just like commie stuff. Like, do you really you want all the commies to have the documentaries? Because all those commies
they have a lot
jobs that just go and use
like they
Windows
cover
Editor.
communes, and that's what's called anarchism. It's like communes and stuff like that, which it is one form. Yes,
right.
But, yeah, so there's a desperate need for this coverage of voluntarism specifically, and anarcho-capitalism. So
absolutely.
And Austrian economics, which is part of that. I want to read off the perks because I think they're cool.
Yeah, and that's a great idea.
That could get somebody to be like, you know what, I want that.
Yeah. Let's just you read it.
Okay.
That'll let me fill up on this drink.
Great. Yeah, we woke up early today. And
awesome.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Select a perk. And the first perk is a 4K digital download. That's going to be, so it's actually 16% off. It was 12, now it's 10. So for 10, you'll get the digital download. And I don't believe there's shipping on that. So you would just get the download.
Right. It's just basically a digital, right.
Address.
That's a great way to get in, right? Get the video. It's on 4K. You can just watch it. $10. I mean, seriously, it's like 2 cups of coffee to help get one of the coolest probable, documentaries on Liberty in a while. So.
And support them to help make it better.
Right.
So, 92 claimed. I believe that's probably the most claimed. So that's pretty cool. 92 out of 238 backers.
That's a lot of backers. It's a lot of backers.
Yeah. So get the digital download. That's pretty, you don't need to enter your shipping address or anything like that. And it looks like what they're estimating overall is March 2020. So that's pretty
doable, especially considering,
pretty soon. Or feel soon.
I don't know that soon, but yeah.
It'll take a while, but
yeah, definitely a good amount of lead time to get things edited.
It's not a long time to wait. It's less than a year. So, so the next one is the Blu-ray. That's $30. So this is the physical copy. You will get the physical Blu-ray disc of the film and the bonus materials associated with it. And once the film is complete, the disc will be mailed out. Okay, cool. So there's 41 claims. I don't know if you get the digital download with that, but it's not listed, so I won't assume.
How much on Blu-ray? Well, that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I can't speak for them because, again, don't know whether they're going to include it. But I'd be surprised if they didn't. If you get the Blu-ray, I'd be surprised if they didn't.
If you're curious, I think they have you can reach out to them. So, Chris Coffer there. He's the campaign owner. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to them. I was considering the Blu-ray, but the one I was going to get is this one. So this is the contributor, and they only have 4 perk options total. You can still contribute any amount that you want, but in terms of just perk options, what they have is 4. I was going to get the third one. The third one is the contributor one. It's 100, which is discounted. It was 125. So for 100, I really like this one because you not only get the Blu-ray, the physical copy of the Blu-ray, but you also get a thank you in the film's credits. So you can put, your name. I don't think they have a restriction on the name because I'm just reading it says your name in the film's credits. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, there's probably
put an anonymous name if you wanted.
Yeah.
I'm sure with restrictions as don't put, some really horrible obscenity.
I'm going to rape.
Yeah. But maybe a business name or something. Right, I was going to put the philosopher. So you get a thank you in the film credits. So that's probably the one I'm going to do. And then an invite to the online premiere. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's like a private showing.
Yeah, probably a private showing. Maybe it's probably YouTube link or, Vimeo or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has more claimed than the Blu-ray, which is interesting. It has 65 claimed compared to the Blu-ray, which has 41. So I'm gonna get that because I want to see
because you get to be in the film credit
at
right?
the end of the credits.
Yeah.
I want to be a contributor, and then the last one with 21 claims. So that's pretty awesome there. But the producer level is the $500 one. So that's a huge 20% discount though, because they were offering it for $625. So for $500 to contribute to the documentary, you can help cover airfare, meals for the crew. So it really is a big help, that much. Of course, multiple people, even a few tens together will make that up, but you yourself will be helping a ton. So they see you as a producer. So you'll be listed as producers on the film's Internet Movie Database, so IMDb. So they're going to have, if it's not already up, it may actually already be up.
I thought I saw something they put tentatively, or they posted tentatively to get on IMDb. They made a submission.
Yeah, so we'll be there. And as a producer, if you give it this level, you'll be listed as a producer. on the film's movie page. So that's pretty cool. I don't know who has a need for that, or if you just want to see your name there, that would be the reason. So you also get the Blu-ray invite to the online premiere, the producer credit, there you go, and then the screen credit as the producer. So you'll also see your name on the screen. So yeah, so those are all the perks. Hopefully that interested somebody. I'm gonna refresh the page. Okay, we're still the same.
But again, we've only been doing this for a little bit. This campaign's been going on for a long while, and a lot of people, of course, are either just getting home from work or, haven't even gotten home from work yet. So we imagine that people are going to be trickling in watching this when they get off and checking it out.
Someone said your bottle is epic. I agree. Oh, someone say it.
So Polaris had a question.
So do you think there is a way to vote in ANCAP libertarians to achieve your goals, or are you more of a collapsitarian? I mean, is there a way? I mean, in the most direct sense, yeah, there's a literal way. Whether I think you could, get enough minds changed to be more than the other people voting, and also to go up against the huge funding that goes into all the other political campaigns for the statists that are going against you. I mean, that's the chances I think are really low. But I don't think it's like, I mean, it's pretty steep all the climb, basically. I think the chances are just very low.
Yeah, so, I don't personally
there's a way, but in terms of whether it's feasible, I don't think so. Ron Paul himself doesn't think that. Like in his book Swords into Plowshares, he's talking about how he'd served, what was it? I'm going to butcher it. At least over 10 times, like 12 terms as U.S. congressman, and he tried so hard.
Served.
Okay, whatever. Well, what do you want me to say?
Thieved.
Okay. Just making it simple, but you're right. But yeah, so even though he served for that long and he got to know people, he tried to change things. For him, it was still very very futile.
Well, yeah, and I think more than anything, it's funny. It says collapsitarian. It's not like collapsitarian is necessarily the chosen outcome. That might just be the default outcome based on the actions of the state, and
it's definitely not the one I want.
But more so, I'm like an exitarian / secessitarian, basically looking for as much as possible an exit from the system, through working with others or seceding and incrementally getting that way. I mean, but again, the collapsitarian part that might just be the inevitable outcome of just those in power realizing that people don't want to go along and them wanting to use as much violence as possible, especially with gun laws and red flag laws and all that good stuff, to murder people and try to take everybody's personal property and their fundamental rights away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I guess answering your question, I was more focused on a federal level. I mean, the closer and closer you get, the smaller and smaller population, the closer you get to your home, I mean, you'll have a greater chance to affect things. But the focus should always be to just change minds. And I think it's better to do more grassroots activism, trying to get people to vote on particular issues versus trying to, one, find somebody who's principled enough, and two, healthy enough, with not a crazy background that can be, torn and shown across the whole media. That's asking a lot. When you're asking for somebody to be voted in, they also have to be not just principled, but have a clean record and all this shit. So and just the chances, are stacked against you there when it comes to trying to find people to actually represent. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, we will close with just saying that this was done here. We did this here as just a promotion for Stateless Productions because we want to see them succeed. And yes, they are past their goal. But again, every support here helps to get them to the point where they can really do an excellent job on the post-production, getting those extra, travels to get some cool speakers and
additional
activists
interviews,
and people in. So again, totally worth supporting, even though they're past. And I know this is someone who, has done many Indiegogo campaigns and has gone beyond a goal. It really does help put in some extra nice features and get some things done that otherwise were thought not even possible. So again, we just really want to make sure that no matter what, they're not worried about resources when it comes to getting that post-production done and having really good editors, great color grading, transitions, so forth. And if they need to get some extra travels to get some really great speakers, want those resources there for them. So they can be like, yeah, we can definitely afford to go and, interview this person and get that footage. So
minimize, if not have at all, the need to do an interview with someone through the internet.
Right.
You want that quality in person,
right?
And the ability to have the lighting. So we're going to post the link again. I just posted it to YouTube, and then I'm going to post it again to Facebook Live. But yeah, so check out the perks. Very accessible. The first perk, $10 for the perk, just to get a digital download of the movie in 4K when it comes out. So that's March of next year. Everything's March of next year. Or do $30 for the physical Blu-ray and be contributing a little extra to help them out there. Or do contributors for $100, which is what I'm going to do. So I can get the Blu-ray and also just have my credit, my name credit at the end. Or if you want to go all out, you can be a producer for $500. So check it out. They have one more day left. Just watch the trailer on their Indiegogo page and really consider it, especially if you're a passionate voluntarist like we are. So well, thank you guys for watching, and thank you Polaris for all the great questions and for the super chats. I really appreciate that. And thanks for everyone else who just was very pleasant and was so happy to be here. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, take care. Bye-bye, Facebook.
Bye-bye.
We're gonna say bye to you first,
and then we'll say bye-bye here to our very special YouTubers.
All right.
Whoa. Hey.
Go away. All right. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. Take care. Definitely support. Check it out.
Check it out.